buenos días. Soy Nico, and today we're here with a very special person. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I want you to do it.
His name is Drummerboi, and he
Thank you.
actually debuted in I believe you said the 2000s era of like the poppy thugs, quote unquote.
Yeah, Cocodorm days 2007. I really appreciate that.
Oh, so
Yeah.
the first question I always ask everybody, how did you get into, adult cinematography?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, not a lot of people really even know who I am. It may seem like it, but really, truly, not a lot of people know who I am. I'll go to an event and they may say I look familiar, or they may say, but they don't necessarily pass out and fall out or do anything. I mean, a couple times, but anyway, I'm Drummer Boy. I wanted to introduce myself. I know you said, introduce myself. So, to some people who may not know, don't. I started in 2007 when Bush was president. In 2000, I know. And I got into it by just, I think, really being insecure. Really being
Really?
insecure. Yeah, I was always growing up the kid with the big nose and the big lips that didn't quite match my face, and then I had like a juicy booty and people would call me sugar booty, like,
Sugar booty?
yes, they would call me sugar booty as a kid, like, just to say that, I look sugary, like, like I look
Yeah,
sweet,
yeah, I get you.
because of my booty and stuff like that. So I was always used to that. Like I was used to that stuff. And so that in turn kind of like got me into, I don't know, being promiscuous because I was so excited to get attention when I got it.
Okay.
And that kind of parlayed itself into, college and stuff like that. A darker story could probably go before that about, being a child. I was like 4, and between 4 and 12, it was 8 years. And that's when I learned that I could actually get stuff from. And that kind of parlayed itself into college. And then, this guy walks up to you and asks you, have you ever modeled before? And then you get excited thinking it's somebody from Top Model. And then,
So that's how they did scouting back then? They would just come up to you and say, have you ever modeled before? Because this is before, social media.
Yeah, this is before social media. So this was like when you were back then, you were really like, I guess, sought out. Like they actually went to you and, what is your name or whatever like that. Have you ever modeled before? And I was like, no, I never modeled before, but I don't even know if Lucas, I believe his name is a white guy named Lucas. I believe he owned Cocodorm at that time.
Wait, he owned what?
I think he owned Cocodorm at the time.
White man owned Cocodorm?
I feel like he did. Like, or was it Phil? Or was his name Phil?
That just shattered my illusion. You know what? I can't be surprised though, because that's how it is in Black industries. A lot of people outside of our community make the profit from it.
Yeah, and it was like, I will never forget it. It was December of 2006, and it was like a couple of days before the Dreamgirls movie came out on Christmas Day. And I had to go to Fort Lauderdale to shoot February the 9th, 2007. That was my first shoot. And that was back then, that was like, well, first of all, before I even get to that point, I told him, I said, yes, I would love to model because I was so insecure. Nobody tells me I'm cute on a daily basis. Nobody tells me I'm sexy. Nobody tells me anything on a daily basis. So I figured that this would be a great way to just guys and also get money from my school. I had been told at that time that I wouldn't be able to finish my second semester of my sophomore year because of money. So like I was panicking and I wanted to pay for school. Really, that was the ultimate reason why I got into it. So I don't have to kind of like not finish school. I did finish. I ended up finishing. I ended up graduating, and everything turned out fine. But I didn't know it then. So that's how I got into it. And if I had another way to get money, truly, if I had another way to get money that would be a surmountable,
So
difference.
would you say that after starting performing, the money that you made during the scene back then was bountiful? Because I remember when I was actually working with a gay up and coming network, I did a few mock shows where you basically read a script, and essentially they said that performers in the early 2000s made a lot more than towards the later 2000s, especially when OnlyFans began to come out. The studio stopped paying as much. So would you say back then doing a scene, how often would you have to do a scene to get by?
It was large to me, but it could be even low now. But my scenes were like 800 something, 850. I knew people who were making $1,100 a scene. Like people like Breon Diamond were making probably more than that. Romeo St. James were probably more than that at the time. And that was the era at that time. So yeah, it was they paid a lot more, and I believe it's only because of the accessibility now of it. The accessibility of back in the day when we were coming up, it was DVDs. You had to either buy the DVD, keep rewinding that DVD, or wait until the next month, 30 days when the new magazine comes out. You really were stuck. So you had to stay on that, and so many people committed to that. That's where the money came from. Nowadays you can have a level of fame and be a social media star first, and then start doing now you're
that's kind of the route I basically went. I wouldn't say a star, but I prioritize building my brands before I even consider doing an OnlyFans, because now that OnlyFans is a bit oversaturated, if you don't already have a built-in fan base, you kind of have to start from the ground up, and it's really hard to get those numbers. So that's kind of what I did.
And I applaud you for kind of like doing an OnlyFans, because I feel like, let me tell you something, I love your channel. Okay, and I often watch a lot of your videos, and you have a lot of good things to say, and you have a lot of nuances when it comes to how you feel about certain things you see in the industry that aren't talked about, like colorism and stuff like that. I really appreciate that. We both watch Chrissy, okay? We both do. And like a lot of the things that you and her say, I really love it. So I just want to get that out of the way and let you know that.
Thank you.
So and I never thought that you would do an OnlyFans. I always thought that you probably would be like this guy behind the register, and I love it. Hey, don't listen, don't up the fantasy right now. I love it.
Oh, well, thank you. No, that's the thing. I'm a very transparent person, especially when it comes to that. I just saw the opportunity. I was recently getting out of an engagement. I was trying to get my life. Yeah, I don't like, that's the thing. A lot of people are like, Nico, you're engaged. I don't talk about my personal life online. But
that
exactly. I feel like we should know less about each other in certain circumstances. But I was basically getting out of that. I was like, you know what? I like the idea that I was originally going to do. I was just going to be interviewing performers like this, just in a more intimate, usually nude setting. But then people started complaining, like, we want to see you on camera, and that's when I actually started, quote unquote, performing.
You having fun?
It's a journey. It's a lot more work than people actually think. Especially because when you have to film back to back, because I don't like film regularly. If anything, I film in bulk when I go on like quote unquote work retreats. You know what I mean? So, so it's like, it's more so a lot of physical energy that I have to exert in like a week to 2 week span of time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I actually took a year off recently. I actually took a year off. I said I was retiring, but the reason why I'm back is because I have the right to change my mind. That's the first thing.
Let them know.
The second thing is I have a lot of fun doing it. I have a lot of fun. I make good money with it. I love what people say about, how they used to sneak, when they're in high school and college and try to watch it, stuff like that. I appreciate stuff like that because it makes me think that I still got it. I know that's vague and I know that's vain, but that's the truth. I got back into it because I love it. I had a lot of fun. And I think it's going to be a lot of good, shoots to come. I think my best shoots are ahead. I really think that. I know that a lot of has-beens say that, that have been in the industry at 15, 16 years. And you know what I'm saying? They always say that, the best music is yet to come. I'm 50, girl. Like, no. No music is coming out. But I swear to God, I swear, I promise you, the best shoots are to come.
Well, that's the thing. Since the landscape has changed more into OnlyFans rather than studios, how do you go setting up collabs now? Because I know when I started, I'm not good at being sexy on demand. I've messaged like a good 3 people going, I don't know how to do this, but if you would ever like to collab, just let me know. Some of them applied, some of them did not.
Right, absolutely. So basically, usually the way it goes is I usually get a message in my inbox, or rarely I may send a message to someone else and just compliment their work and stuff like that. And 9 times out of 10, I'm not complimenting them because I want to work with them. I'm literally genuinely excited about their work, excited about the fact that they liked something that I posted. I really am like that. And a lot of the times these collabs take months. They take months because you get in conversation with these people, and you get to learn them, and learn where they're from, and then you start talking about other things that don't have nothing to do with you find things in common, and then you start to flirt, and then the pictures come, and then maybe we should do a collab. Some things happen like that. Or then there are some that may happen, I love your work. Do you want to do a scene together? Yada yada yada. Yes, sometimes it'll occur like that. There are a couple of times. I won't say all the time because that will be dishonest. There are some times where we've actually gone as far as getting each other's test results on our own.
Really?
To film. Yeah, and that's a few times. I could probably say 4. Probably 4. And I think we should do that more. I think we should do that more.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business. We're all here to make money. So I feel like, seeing as how our is our merchandise, we should be prioritizing safety in the process. Especially because I'm sure, as you've noticed, since you did premiere in the early 2000s, a lot of scenes are now condomless. A lot of people prefer to watch, raw as their, way to get their jolly. So
my very first scene was with the condom. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, good. And I just see how the tide is changing, and that's fine because I got a choice. I have a choice, whether I want to wear a condom or not, and they have a choice whether they want to wear a condom or not. But there's always a good sense of chemistry and trust and ease when you can know that person that you're shooting with is open enough to you to share that information with you, whether they're HIV positive or not, whether they, had something and need to stop, for a couple of days.
And that's the thing. I actually appreciate performers who are honest about that. And I've seen how some people can use that against them when people get into public spats, but I'm like, I would prefer somebody tell me honestly about their sexual status and say, hey, I just need to get treated real quick, we can reschedule, than them just not telling me at all. Especially because a lot of people don't know, like you said, collabs take months to set up, and sometimes they flake. Because I remember I flew out to New York, I had a whole collab ready, and then you just stopped replying. I'm like, girl, you're not gonna money like that.
Oh no.
Yeah, but luckily I was there to hang out with friends. It was more so people don't understand. It's not always just, oh, you're next to me, let's just make a film. They don't understand that 95% of the time, I'm here for a reason. I'm not just randomly in your city. I have an itinerary. I can't just make a large amount of time because filming also takes a minute.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing. That's the psychological patience and discipline that it takes for nowadays is also gone, and it's expected to be as fast as your phone. It's expected to. So basically, you're in my city, let's link up. No, the process isn't that fast. It isn't as fast as you now being able to pop up your phone. It's not, even though the process of looking at it is easier, the setup is quite the same. You want to make sure you get your hair cut and prep and make sure you got your days off from your other job and, you know, set all this stuff up. And it's not really that easy. In my city, link up. Well, what do you have? Lights? Do you have?
Do you have a cameraman?
You know, do you have a cameraman? Do you have these things prepared? You know, I also think that that's also a difference. The patience that it takes to get your numbers up. You know, in a pace to get your numbers up, people are doing anything in public. They're doing things in front of children. They're like going to grocery stores, doing things, and on top of tables and restaurants. And I'm like,
and that's the thing. I kind of blame the advancement of social media for it. For example, like you said in the past, you would wait 1 month, you get a DVD or a new magazine because it takes time for production. But nowadays on social media, all you have to do is post maybe one nude, post one viral clip, and you have the built-in fan base. Now they're expecting you to post weekly. And some people have the natural high drive. A lot of us, we do not have the energy to be like, bam, 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 pumping out scenes, because it takes a while. Like, for example, so far on OnlyFans, I think I've been doing it for like a good 6 to 7 months. I have like 8 scenes in total, collabs, just because I don't, the body is willing.
They're hot though, I bet, right?
Yeah, it's like, I prefer to do quality over quantity, because at the end of the day, I'm not just going to put anything out with my name on it. That's just how I've been on all platforms. If I'm going to post something, if I'm going to send something out, I'm going to make sure it's up to a certain quality.
Yep. Absolutely. That me too. I admire that about you. I feel that. I feel like that. I got to subscribe to your page. That's what I got to do. I got to freaking subscribe to your page. I'm going to subscribe to your page tonight. I'm going to subscribe to your page. I totally forgot until like this moment that you actually did OnlyFans scenes now.
It's because I don't market it for the sole reason when I was first coming onto Instagram, I'm sure you noticed it as well. When you first get onto the scene, people will try to treat you as just a sexual object. Because though we are selling a fantasy, at the end of the day, it's still a job. You clock out and you're still a 3-dimensional person. So when I first joined like Instagram and stuff, people were treating me that way. So when I went onto YouTube, I kind of went far into censoring myself. I didn't post like I used to post, because people think, oh, Nico, you post sexy now. I'm like, bro, I used to be a go-go boy. I used to be posting underwear, bulge pictures all the time. Like, it was wild. But it's like, that's why I don't, especially since I have a platform where people come for like opinions and or tea or news, I try not to lead with my physical, or else they're not going to listen to it, because I know how it is. I've been there. So that's why I made a separate page for like promotions of my OnlyFans on Twitter, so it doesn't interfere with my already made platforms.
So basically, to answer your question the long way, that's how I got started into. That's some of the differences that I've seen in, and the accessibility of is truly one of the biggest differences, and the psychological patience of it is really, really different.
Well, we've already discussed how it takes months to set up Collab. How was it back then, especially since it originally just started with Do You Want to Model? How did they go with booking you afterwards?
From what I remember, it literally used to be, sometimes they would have shoots, like they'll have like a scene, and like, for example, they would burn money. They would fly me from Daytona Beach to Fort Lauderdale. They would fly me from Daytona Beach to Fort Lauderdale. They really would. I was at Bethune, and then they would just fly me to Fort Lauderdale on the weekends. Any shoot that you've ever seen me do was on the weekend. Any shoot that you ever seen, because I work a 9-to-5 job. I do accounting. I love my job. Been doing it for about 8 years. I act on the side. I do comedy shows. My bachelor's is actually in theater. So yeah, my
original degree plan was in theater.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I have a script that I'm writing now. I'm pitching in LA in April. Absolutely. I hope ABC or CBS picks it up, but it's a real thing. If you want to hear about it, I'll talk to you about it. You really are going to be impressed. But anyway, that's the long answer to your question. That is the long answer to your question.
How often would you do scenes?
Whenever they would hit you up, whenever they would call you, the company would call you. It wasn't you calling the company and asking for work. They would hit you up for work and stuff like that. And sometimes you would have 4 scenes in one weekend.
Oh wow!
Because they know you got to go back to school Sunday. They know they got to fly you back out Sunday to go back home. So you'll do like 4 scenes that weekend, and then you get your check for it the next Friday.
So they were very understanding of like your schedule and your free time.
Yes, they were very understanding of my schedule. I can't speak on anyone else's, but I do know that at the time I was going to Bethune-Cookman, and then I was going back on the weekends, doing that, trying to pay for school, because my tuition payments back then in 2007 was $775. So you can imagine back then. Right now it's still a lot, $775.
Yeah.
But back then it was like, it was a lot of money.
I can imagine.
How often I used to do it, I'm sorry. Used to be, every weekend, when they would hit you up.
Okay. Well, I would say, if anything, my final question would be, because people always say, be careful what you post on the internet, you're going to regret it later on. Seeing as how it hasn't necessarily affected your personal life, because most people don't walk up to you and go, oh, you're a Drummerboi. They say, oh, you look familiar.
Yeah.
A lot of people dance around that question in general. I remember when I was out with
they do.
my friend Elijah at a concert, and somebody walked up to me and was like, I swear I know you from somewhere. And we had to awkwardly stand there until Elijah went, porn. You know me from porn. You can just say it.
They're just saying it, yes. And I know that they say that, and a lot of the times they do. I think they do know who I am, but it's like, if they don't say that they know who I am, don't take it for granted. They don't know.
Yeah.
But they always say, you look familiar. I'll say something. Oh, I used to work at the Walmart down the street here.
I'm not about to play with you.
And they'll be like, oh, for real? I'll be like, yeah. And then I'll know in my mind, in 5 minutes, he's gonna come back to me and say, oh, because I'm not giving him what he wants. Because I'm not saying what he want me to say right now. So he's gotta find a way to come back and let me know that he know me.
Yeah.
That's annoying. I know you deal with it too.
That's the thing. Most people actually come up to me for YouTube, since I don't advertise it on most of my pages. They're like, I didn't even know you had OnlyFans. I'm like, girl, okay.
yeah, that's right. Your YouTube channel is popping. Congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you. But
you're welcome.
The question I was gonna ask, it was basically, seeing as how you did, you took a year for retirement, but you came back willingly, and you have your own OnlyFans and you're booking your own collabs. Would you say that what people say about that you'll regret it later down the line isn't true, seeing as how you said it has helped you pay for your education and get yourself back on your feet, stable in your career?
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I don't think that what people say that they'll regret, I think when they say that, they're saying that they would regret it if they did it. I think they're saying that because really what I have found to be true about is that it is like music. It's like, actors doing movies. If you work hard on them while you're young, those videos will work hard for you when you're old. And you don't have to regret anything as long as you put your all into what you're doing now, to the point where you are sure in 10 or 15 years that people are still going to like you. And people are still going to subscribe to your stuff, and people are still going to pay for that you're not even taking a year off. That is what I've learned, and that's what I know to be true about it. So I don't think that you're going to regret anything. A lot of people that say that are probably not good looking. A lot of people that say that are probably people who do this in private for free and don't know how to manifest it into a business, or make it come off the ground like other dreams that they may have had, So you really can't listen to people who say that you'll regret it, because, that'll make you self-destruct. It really would.
And that's the thing that I've noticed as well, because coming from somebody who before Instagram, I was quote unquote the church boy. You know, I was real quiet. I ain't post my body. I didn't do none of that. When I started doing Instagram modeling, I still wasn't getting treated with respect by quote unquote people online and or men. So all my life, I'm like, I've always been judged no matter what I do, whether I play the saint, whether I just indulge in what I want to. So why am I holding myself back in fear of the criticism of people who were already going to judge me?
Yes, and the thing about it, the people who are going to judge you, let them judge you. Seriously, I know it's weird, but they judge you. You look good. You know, that bitch doing that. At least he doing that. The people subscribing to his shit. At least he good. He doing that because that shows that they know that. So, and if they know that without you telling them that, then you're doing something good. If you didn't walk up to that person and tell them what you're doing, but they can walk up to you and judge everything that you're doing, and you never told them what you were doing, they were watching you.
Oh,
they were watching you. If you have not told them, if you haven't told them out of your mouth anything, and they're saying to you, "I know this about you. I know this about you."
They watch.
Yes, they're watching you. They're watching you, and at that point, you can't apologize for their actions. You just can't. You know, let that be a word.
It is a word. I'm gonna live by that one because I never thought about it like that. If you have enough information to criticize me and judge my movements, that means you're watching me. At the end of the day,
that's it. Especially if I never told you that. Especially if I never walked up to you and told you that out of my mouth. Then that it's evident. It's absolutely evident that you're either one talking about me or looking. You know, it's evident.
Well, thank you for your time, and I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to interview you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Listen, I was kind of nervous. I was kind of nervous a little bit. I don't really, like to talk on camera or like the way my voice sounds on camera. You know, I'm really critical about that kind of stuff, and
Well, you did amazing, and you sound amazing.
Good. But listen, I really appreciate it. I really want to do it again. I want to tell you the worst shoots I've had and who they were. And I want to tell you the best shoots I've had and who they were.
Well, I will definitely follow up with that one because especially, I forget that this is a Zoom call that's going to be posted. If that sounds interesting to you guys, definitely drop it down in the comments. And I would love to hear those stories because even in just like the 7 to 8 months that I've been doing it, I've had some good shoots. I've had some bad shoots. It really depends on who you're around and the energy.
Yes. The guy was good. But he's well known, but he was really he's a nice guy, but he just kept looking at himself the whole fucking time.
Don't even get. I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
God!
I think I made a comment about it on one of my videos where I was like, I just do not like him because he just stares directly into the camera in every video, and I can't do that.
I just can't do it, and it's like, and then he was like, and then didn't get hard, and then I'm gonna like at all. I had to literally call like a third person to the hotel and edit around it. And everybody thinks it's the best promo ever. And I had to edit around it. If you notice, it wasn't even any penetration in the video. And it's like one of the biggest ones. And I just want to.
Oh no. Now you see, you can't spring that on me in the last 3 minutes.
I know. You have to on this part of the interview when you edit it, you literally have to put a to be continued at the bottom.
Most definitely, because at this point I'm interested because a lot of people, we see the glitz, the glamour, the finished production, but we don't they don't know what happens behind the scenes.
Yes,
and the curious part is.
Yes, and there's one model who actually the scene, and we got upset with each other on the set. We had to go to Walmart, get almond milk and some baby oil gel, put it in the thing and squeeze it in my butt so that when he came out I had to push it out.
Oh my God. Well, now you all know if you ever want to fake a baby gel and almond milk.
Baby gel and almond milk, just a pinch of baby gel, and you put some almond milk in there. You pour it in your butt, and then after he's done, you just push it out, and it looks like slimy.
You know what? This is making so much sense now. Like, oh my God, so many dots are connecting in my head. But look, we're out of time. But once again, thank you for your time, and we'll definitely have a part 2 because now you got my mind like whirling.
Yes, we'll talk about some real interesting stuff. Model, one of your well-known models fell down 2 flights of stairs. But anyway, we'll talk about.
Oh my. Okay. All right. We gonna say.
Hey, I love you. I'm so proud of you. Everything that you're doing. I'm subscribed to your page on YouTube. Keep doing what you're doing. Seriously, don't listen to anybody. What you're doing for the gay community is law. I'm telling you. To going online and doing your videos about what's right, how to be a genuine person, how to stop doing keep us from being like judged and stuff like that. I appreciate it. We ran out of time, I know it, but I just want to tell you that.
Thank you so much. No, I genuinely appreciate it.
My pleasure. Absolutely, man.
Well, all right. Well, thank you all for tuning in also. I plan to do these videos more often, especially part 2s with the more worst and best scenes, because now this is an interesting topic that I would really like to follow through with.
Oh, absolutely.
If anything, would you like to shout out your handles before we go, or?
Oh yeah, my handle on Twitter is @Drummerboi ____. That's my Twitter. My IG is Drummerboi for real. DRUMMERBOI. The number 4 REAL. Of course. What else? Drummerboi XXX on and that's it really. I really appreciate you letting me do that.
My pleasure, of course. But yes, definitely check him out, and I will see you guys next time. And now for a quick yet sincere shout out to this week's Third Eye 2 subscribers, Rio D and Edward W. You are greatly appreciated. And if you like this kind of content, make sure to drop down below some performers that you'd like me to interview, and I'll see if I can set something up. And this week's live stream's conversation is going to be over hookup horror stories, so if that sounds interesting, definitely tune in.